and somebody who has graced it several times and is now gracing your finish line as the champion of the Lake Sonoma 50 miler. This is Stephen Kersh. 6 hours and 50 minutes on the clock for Stephen Kersh. Phenomenal job out there for him. No stranger to this community, no stranger to these trails. And you were talking about the fact that there is a proper running community, not just on race weekend, but year round.
Yeah. Skip Brand and his wife Holly opened Healdsburg Running Company about 12, 13 years ago. And that was kind of a game changer. People came out of the woodwork, not just in Healdsburg, but in all the surrounding areas, Santa Rosa, all of Sonoma County.
Well, we were joined by somebody here in the booth who came to the trails at a young age, who's been out here grinding for a while and knows Flagstaff very well from personal experience, even though he left. And it's still in his heart. I feel it's always going to be in his heart. Always be second home. Our men's champion in the Lake Sonoma 50, Stephen Kersh. How are you doing, sir?
Man, I'm tired. That was a long, tough day, but super fun as always. Yeah, first race here in 2019, so it's nice to be back.
Absolutely. So full context. Tara Dower is slated to be our next finisher in. So if we abruptly cut you, it's not that we don't care. We just want to make sure that we also acknowledge it when she comes in.
There's more important things.
No, I wouldn't say more important. I would say both you guys are having yourselves an absolute day. Yours was quite impressive because you were not in first for a huge chunk of it. So just walk us through the early miles, how you were feeling, based on the gap that Chris got away, and then sort of where your mind space was on that back half.
Yeah, I think Chris and I, we only ran probably the first 5 miles or so together, and then he was just running very aggressive on the downhills early, and I, for a number of reasons, didn't feel like that was going to suit me on the day. Yeah. I thought if I ran the effort that I knew I could probably run, I think I was going to have a good day, and I thought me having a good day would be enough to probably win. So I was just trying to really bide my time. And yeah, I think Chris, he probably got like a 4-minute gap on me at some point, 4 or 5 minute. But I saw him on the out and back, and it was 4 minutes. And then, I saw my crew about 30 minutes later, and it was shrinking at that point. So, and I wasn't feeling like I was exerting more. I was just kind of keeping a consistent effort. And yeah, it worked out. I ended up catching him. Well, we left the last eight,
that Island View,
Warm Springs.
Oh, Warm Springs, yeah.
Warm Springs together. I passed him shortly thereafter. Was feeling really good.
And that's a long, nasty stretch in
man,
there.
that is, and I remember that from 2019. It just drags, like it's so long.
There's no special features.
No.
It's kind of all the same, but a lot of up and down. And
that was brutal. Yeah.
In the trees with the lake on your left, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I was feeling really good, and then all of a sudden I was not feeling so good, and it was just, I was just in the pain cave, and I thought I had a pretty good gap, but I knew that Ryan, obviously such a good athlete, I figured he'd be closing on me. Chris, so solid. So I never felt very safe out there.
That is, that's always the best way to race is, not feeling incredibly complacent. So love to see that. I have to ask, one of the interesting things for you as we have Tara Dower on the screen making her way towards that final pop out onto the road. So probably about a minute and a half until she's here at the finish line. Your fueling strategy. Everybody else seemed to have packs. It looked like you were kind of just rocking with like a belt and a handheld. Like what was your strategy, and how are you keeping moving out there?
Yeah, I had a belt, and then I had 2 soft flasks. So I would every hour, pretty much I was drinking 2 soft flasks. One with carbs in it, and then another with just like scratch, so just more sodium. I was using the new NAC product that I'm sponsored by NAC. So they just came out with the new high carb mix. This is my first race using it. I felt very good. That was, I don't know. I like moving light on these sorts of trails, especially when you see crew so often. I didn't feel like a pack was necessary.
Sweet. I mean, and obviously done a ton of work in hot conditions. You've raced a lot in hot conditions. How was the cooling strategy out there, or was this just not even that bad for you?
There was moments where it's hot. I actually got an ice bandana. It felt a bit silly. It's something we usually do like Western States or Black Canyon or something. But high of 74. Coming from Seattle, we've barely touched the 60s very often.
Yeah.
So I figured it was going to feel pretty hot, and it did. I was very happy with having an ice bandana and just dumping water all over my head whenever I could, getting in the river and putting my hat in there. So, it was important to stay cool out there. It definitely sneaks up on you a bit.
You ran here before on the original course.
Yeah.
How do you stack this course up against that one?
Harder, for sure.
Yeah. More climbing at the beginning.
Yeah, more climbing. More climbing at the beginning. And then, I think just with the way that last section drags, you just want to be done at South Lake. And then in my mind, I was like, it's not that far. It's only a mile and a half. But I was in the pancake, so I preferred 2019. A nice 8-mile course.
Yeah.
49. That was, my watch had 52. I don't know. So.
Yeah.
That was a bit tougher.
Yeah, just kind of interesting to look at the times and see. This course is a couple miles longer and a little more vert, and but 93% of it is the same.
Right.
So
it's probably 15 minutes slower, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I bet my 2019 time is probably a bit more impressive. But hey, I didn't win that race.
Yeah, that's right. So
that's all that matters. Yeah.
So talk to us a bit about the prep for this race. Obviously, Seattle's a bit of a different training ground than Flagstaff. How have you gotten ready for this? Were you at Tarek's camp? We've heard folks talk about it. Just walk us through the lead up to this.
Yeah. Well, the lead up's been a bit funny. I had my first child 2 months ago.
Congrats.
So hello, Emma and Lowell, if you're watching this. So that's been, training's been totally different. A
little bit.
Yeah. My best friend told me to repeat after him, freshness over fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my mantra all day today. Just, mileage, I was running maybe 10, 11 hours a week. Usually with training for something like this, I'm probably closer to 14 or 15 hours a week. So still not a ton, but for me, there was a big enough gap there. But, I was still able to get in some really good long runs. I had confidence. I knew I was in shape for some distance of racing. I didn't know how far. It was kind of just more exciting just to see what I could do. Seattle's a great place to train. We have great mountains nearby, especially in the winter. It rains, but it doesn't really snow,
right.
So we can get out and get some really great vert. So blessed to be able to get out there and do that kind of stuff still. So training's looking a little different with the kiddo, but I think I'm just being way more intentional with my time. I was telling people when I do a workout, it's I warm up for 10 minutes, I do the workout, and I do not cool down. It's just you're just getting in the quality. I don't have time for junk miles anymore.
Well, you'll have to coach Ryan Raff up a little because his wife is expecting in June. So
okay, there we go.
Yeah,
I can't wait to talk to him.
I've been. We were giving him a bad time about sleep deprivation, but
yeah, that was fun. Luckily, that stage is sort of over. It's just a new season of life, I suppose.
Absolutely. So now that you are in this new season of life, what's next? I imagine it's a little bit up in the air because that's what having a newborn at home will do. But theoretically, in your best hopes, what's the ideal circumstance for the rest of the year?
I'm signed up for UTMB, so the full loop.
Awesome.
The plan's to bring the whole family out there for a week and hang out. Usually, when I've gone out there in the past, it's I can be out there for a couple months and train a lot and get on the course. And that's not going to be the case this year. I've had the opportunity to do it after getting fifth at Canyons last year. So I figured it's tough to pass up that opportunity. It's a race that I've told myself I would never do because it looks heinous, but I think it's also one that obviously draws us all in and seems like one that I would love to complete. So that's the overarching goal. Don't really have anything too big planned before that or after. We'll just see what happens.
So a lot of intentionality in the next 5 or so months for you. Talk to us about how are you going to keep that mindset locked in? Like, I mean, for you, that's kind of a long-term goal. It feels like you've raced relatively frequently in your career. So how are you going to hold on to that dream and stay motivated that whole sequence of time?
I think fear is the biggest motivator with that one.
Perfect. Okay.
And I think that motivates me just to be as prepared as I can be. So that's not a race you can show up not feeling confident at and expect to do well. So I'll let fear be my guide. Probably going to invest in a treadmill, toss that in the garage. So yeah, there's some things we can do to make it work. But yeah, I think it's a big enough goal where it will require a lot of focus. And also, I don't know. I love training. Like I like just the daily kind of grind of getting up, doing something. So I don't think it'll be too tough.
Sweet. Love that for you.
Thank
Love that
you.
for the family.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's gonna be quite the family trip out.
Yes, it will.
So
That'll be a nice holiday for the rest of them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're not going to crew me or anything. They're just going to hang out.
Yeah, well, if you throw off the sleep cycle for the kid, you'll be off in the mountains, so
Exactly.
it won't be your problem.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be perfect for you. We have to shout out the presenting sponsor of the race because they're also your
That's right.
sponsor, Adidas Terex. What shoe were you racing in, and any feedback that you have so you can be ready for UTMB with that shoe?
Yeah, so I was in the Gravik Speed Ultra, which I saw actually a lot of people wearing. I think it's probably a perfect shoe for this kind of course. It's that rocker, TPU, super responsive and fast. So it's a super fun shoe. For UTMB, I think it'll work well too. You gotta run in it, I think, to really be confident on like anything that's a bit technical.
Gotcha, yeah.
Just because it's a bit of a higher stack, But yeah, I think that'll be the shoe for UTMB. Terex always has some tricks up their sleeves or some like athlete shoes, so maybe something with a little longer lugs or a little more cushion or something will be coming our way. But yeah, it's been fun to have that shoe for the last couple of years. I think it's been a pretty big game changer.
Love it. So we're definitely excited to follow along the journey, both on the parenting side, but also for UTMB in just a few short months. Where can folks follow along?
Yeah, smash the follow button, fam. I'm on Instagram, first and last name. That's pretty much about it.
We got a Substack,
Strava.
we got a magazine. What we got going?
We do well. I have a production company, and we do have a newsletter. The Substack is very fun. Doesn't really talk about running too much, but it's called Content Farm. So if you want to learn about what I do when I'm not running, you can subscribe.
Tell us about that.
It was just me and my best friend. We have a company, Rabbit Wolf Creative. We do a lot of photo and video work, mostly in running. We do a lot of like branded documentary style stuff. That's kind of our bread and butter. We have a couple cool projects that we've been working on the last year or so. A couple more coming up here. So, that's the day to day when I'm not running. Get to do that. Spend a lot of time taking photos of runners. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, super stoked, as I mentioned, to follow along the journey. So everybody at home, you got the instructions.
Yeah.
Smash the follow button,
Smash the
subscribe.
follow button. It's free, guys. That's free content. Come on.
There it is.
Yeah.
Love it. We're going to let you go recover and
Thank
just
you.
be a person.
I would love to try to eat something.
we would love you to have an appetite again. So.
And who knows what else.
Yeah, it's always a good spread here. Well, it's good seeing you guys.
Yeah, great
Appreciate
to see you.
Thanks for being out here. Appreciate
Haven't
it.
seen you since the top of Eldon a couple years ago.
I love bumping into Tropical John and Flagstaff. That was the best.
Awesome. Men's champion Stephen Kersh, thank you, sir.